Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to more Fate Grand Order. Today we are going to start Lostbelt 3, the Synchronized Intelligence Nation, Sin. Well, as you can see here, they went with Intellect instead. I don't really know why. Intelligence and intellect aren't the same thing. So, until I see an in-story reason why they went with intellect rather than intelligence, I'm just gonna leave the video titles as intelligence, and so on. Anyway, let's get started. Oh, I would also go back and watch the prologue episodes first if you haven't yet. They're pretty important. Okay. Chinese Lostbelt. Sin. No battles, huh? Gonna kill my throat right away? Oh, wow. That was a new effect. I think. I can't remember seeing that before. Emerging from long-distance zero sail now. Whoa, we nailed the positioning. Would my cat please stop whining? I can see the supercell surrounding this Lostbelt 1,000 meters straight ahead. Impressive. Even if this precision is only possible when embarking from the wandering sea, it is quite something to behold. What's more, Miss Sion tells me that we can expect this level of precision anywhere except the North and South Poles. Unfortunately, we may have been a little too precise. At this distance, our only choice is to head straight into the storm wall immediately. Mr. Gordolf, how are you? Yeah, he's not doing so great. It would seem his fear of the poison has more or less overwhelmed him. He will not be of much use for the time being. Yeah, that's fair. How about you, Mr. Cursor? Are you ready for this next phase? Yes, I think so. Good. Miss Sion was kind enough to make some significant improvements to your mystic code. It should be a good deal more useful both in keeping you alive and in aiding your performance as a master. What did she do? I'll explain more once we arrive in the Lostbelt, but... Yes, Miss Kyrillite? Is something the matter? Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm good to go as well. I did feel the same warmth during that last zero sail as I did in Scandinavia, but... Okay, guys, that's enough. Ready or not, we're embarking on another zero sail. We don't want to burn the border's fuel unless we really have to, so I'm going to take advantage of the inertia we just got by launching from the Wandering Sea. We'll be emerging inside the Lostbelt without anything to guide us, just like we did in Scandinavia. Oh? Well, what's this now? Good news, Gordy! It looks like Koyanskaya is inside the Chinese Lostbelt, too. She is? Are you sure about that, Da Vinci? Yep, I got a pretty solid sample of her data yesterday, so there's no mistaking it. Now we can kill two birds with one stone. Not only will this greatly improve our odds of emerging from void space, we can also ask her about an antidote once we capture her. Munier, set the anchor point from hypothetical/living human to Koyanskaya. Got it, but man, as if I didn't already have my hands full driving this thing. Damn it, just when I could have used the old man's help. I wonder if she really has an antidote. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I mean, you don't work with poisons without having an antidote, just in case, so... But this is Koyanskaya we're talking about, so who knows? Very well, then. In light of this new information, I believe a new course of action is in order. We should cancel our search for Jian Shui Mingmai in favor of capturing Koyanskaya. That would be a much surer way of neutralizing the poison Gordolf and Cursor consumed. And it would be one less threat to our future endeavors. As for the Cryptor and the Tree of Emptiness, our goals there would remain unchanged. We find and restrain the former and cut down the latter. Would that be acceptable to you, Director? Yes, of course. That sounds great. Indeed, this is no time to be trembling in fright. No more Mr. Nice Guy, Tamamovich Koyanskaya. The next time we meet, I'll see you pay for everything you've done. Hey now, don't get ahead of yourself, Gordy. We still have to capture her first, remember? And even if we succeed at that, it won't amount to anything if we can't make her tell us where to find or how to make the antidote. Understood. I will hold back. However, I will not show her mercy. We should at least berate her right after capturing her. It is best if we beat this villain so that she can never again stand up or engage in any evil schemes. I love them. China is my home, Lostbelt or not. Its air and land should remain the same. As such, I should have no trouble defeating this demon. Thank you, Nezha. It's great to have your help. Alright, we're now only 400 meters from the storm wall. Do it, Da Vinci. Expanding logic formula on Shadow Border's external armor. Removing existence verification for reality space. Future prediction, hypothetically prove mirror world plane in 20 seconds. Relaxing space-time friction decompression for 0.4 seconds. All systems are green. Void space C observations remain locked at previous results. Shadow Border untether from reality. Void space died. 0 sail. Unfurl once again. That's such a neat effect. Lostbelt number 3. The Synchronized Intelligence Nation, Sin, the Crimson Beauty under the Moon. Courts for the Mothman Fund. Okay. Formation restricted, huh? So I can only use these two. I mean, makes sense story-wise, but... Huh. In that case, what craft essence do I want to give to MASH? What would even be good for her? I only ever use the same handful of craft essences, so I don't know what's actually useful. Art of Death. And I can't give anything to you. Because you are support. Okay. You say you thought you had a dream, that it might have been some kind of sign. And that absurd reasoning has you drinking poison from a chalice. I see. So you think it's foolish too, huh? My wife said the same thing. His Imperial Majesty himself gave me this poison. All I need do is drain it in a single gulp, and I will displease him no more. I have slain too many for one in my position. You might say I've outlived my usefulness. I don't understand. None of this would have happened if not for how petty the Emperor is. How can you be willing to lay down your life for a man like that? You may not see any sense in it, but this is simply what it means to be a warrior. Okay. Once I heard you were going to die, I had to come and ask. Say the word and I will see everyone who toyed with your destiny, who forced this hollow loyalty upon you, drown in a sea of their own blood. Ah! So, I think I know who these two are now. I'm honored you are so angry on my behalf. It's more than I deserve, and I will admit that I do have my share of regrets. But at this point, okay. Very different people than I thought, okay. But at this point, I've truly come to believe this is a fitting end to the life of Gao Changgong. I don't understand. The way you talk about life and death makes no sense whatsoever. But then, I suppose I could never understand, as death is a concept that's never had meaning to me. Okay, so I was right about who the woman is, I think. Ah, yes, that's true, isn't it? Perhaps, if anything, I should be the one begging you for forgiveness. After all, the peace I will attain in death will be forever beyond your reach. Perhaps I'm jealous of your death, and of the brilliance of your life leading up to it. I'm trying to remember what she should sound like. You are too kind. I assure you, I know no more of death's secrets than you do. Even should I learn them now, they will soon be lost to darkness. Do you have any last wishes? Good question. If I could wish for something beyond my own death, it would be to someday see you again. I suppose such a wish must sound completely absurd. Not necessarily. I have seen the likes of you shatter more daunting barriers. I have seen them tame lightning, cure plagues, and even change the course of rivers. I cannot say how long it will take, but eventually the day may come when those bound by mortal lives learn to reach beyond even death. Should such a day come to pass, and if I am lucky enough to be there to see it, then I shall recall your final wish. You don't know how happy I am to hear that. In all my 33 years of life, there is nothing I've treasured more than your presence. Wait, shit, I'm fighting a saber. Am I gonna have to fight him right off the bat? Crap. With the restricted formation. This is gonna be something. Reality space anchor attached. Reality verification complete. Proper human history resemblance A. Lostbelt depth E. Establishing Shadow Border's existence within Lostbelt. 0 sale return successful. I'm glad we had another emergence that went so smoothly. How are you feeling, Senpai? I know the poison isn't causing you any pain right now, but I also heard you're not feeling entirely yourself. I'm fine. Just a little short of breath is all. Yeah, they said it was like a bad cold, right? So cold symptoms are the worst of it for you, are they? Must be nice. I'll have you know I used to have asthma when I was a young lad. You don't grow out of asthma. But after I read the memoirs of a great bodybuilder, actor, and politician who once suffered from the same disease, I followed his example and overcame it with rigorous training. Though, sadly, I don't have his muscle to show for it. My point, young man, is that all you need is gumption. This is no time to let your fears get the better of you. I must say, it's almost encouraging to see our commander so energetic despite his poisoning. Yep, we've still got plenty of time to find a cure, and Gordy's a mage, so he's pretty well accustomed to dire threats like this. Now, let's see what things look like outside. 18 degrees Celsius, 30% humidity, gentle breeze, no unusual magical energy readings. I'm looking out the window right now, and it looks like a field. I gotta say, I'm almost creeped out by how normal it seems here compared to the other two Lostbelts. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Are there any hostiles outside? Not according to our instruments. Since it looks like it's safe, why don't we all go see for ourselves? Is this really the Chinese Lostbelt? Latitude and longitude don't lie. We're standing right at 32 degrees for... I don't know how to read latitude and longitude. We're standing on the coordinates. In proper human history, this would be Xi'an, a major city with a population of 3.4 million people. Well, this is certainly not a city, but it doesn't look like untamed wilderness either. Perhaps it is a wheat field or the like. Admittedly, it would be an extraordinarily large one. I recognize the smell in the air here. This is my homeland. And yet, I have no memory of this strange landscape. How confusing and depressing. It seems I am useless as a guide for you, after all. Hey, don't worry about it. All bets are off when it comes to Lostbelts. Besides, we have a much bigger role for you to play than just a guide. For the moment, I've picked up a ley line only a kilometer or so away from here. Between that and how surprisingly safe this area looks to be, I'd say we're off to a pretty good start. Now, what do you say we take the shadow border over to the ley line and set up a summoning circle? Got it. I'll go warm up the engine then. You can never be too prepared for combat in these Lostbelts. Yup. Okay, the ley line's right around that well. Go ahead and park it here. It certainly doesn't look like a dangerous area, but something feels off. True, if anything, it's too peaceful. And considering how expansive this farmland is, it's weird that we haven't seen a single piece of agricultural machinery. The buildings here seem a little crude, too. Yeah, I've never seen anything quite like them before, though I guess you could say they look kind of like collective housing? You mean like an apartment building? That's right, although I'm not sure that building is the right word for that, structure. All that ground they leveled, and they're still living in holes? It's like something out of the Stone Age. Maybe civilization never really developed in this world? Oh, there's some people headed this way. Shall we try talking to them? Yes, but do be careful. I doubt they pose any threat to us, but we cannot afford being seen as a threat either. What the? Who the hell are these people, and what are they doing in our field? Look at their weird clothes. Do you think they might be foreigners? Foreigners? Here? Does that mean they came from that strange storm, then? Hurry up and call the supervisor. Maybe he'll know what to do. At least the translators seem to be working fine. According to our linguistic analysis, they're speaking Middle Chinese, a language that predates the Song dynasty. Conversation is a good starting point. However, we have frightened them. This pattern is not good. Hey, did you really see foreigners? Yeah, they're right over there. See for yourself, Supervisor. They just popped up in my field out of nowhere. They were riding around in that weird box. They wear really strange clothes. And I think they've got weapons, too. Aw, crap. I don't like where this is going. Cursor, help us out here before things turn violent. Tell them this is all just a big misunderstanding. If Holmes tries to explain, he'll just make things worse. And what's wrong with my explanations? Everything. We mean you no harm. Ah, he talked. If you don't mean any harm, then why'd you show up in the middle of the field dressed like that? Go on, Supervisor, get rid of them for us before they ruin any more wheat. You got it. They've all taken up weapons. Now what do we do? It seems their rather bare-bones lifestyle has not lent itself to open minds. I'm afraid we'll need to pacify them before we can begin negotiations. Is now really the time for detached analysis, Holmes? Can't you use charm on them or something? Gordy's the only one of us who can use charm spells. Well, he says he can anyway. And even if he's telling the truth, he's still comfortably holed up inside the border right now. It'd be best to summon a servant who has a powerful innate charm skill, but that would require access to the ley line, which we don't have yet. It would seem we cannot avoid this battle. Fortunately, our opponents should be willing to listen once they get this out of their system. While this would be an ideal situation for my Baritsu, I'm afraid I will have to sit this one out. Oh, right, you still haven't fully recovered yet. Guess we've got no choice then. Mash, Naja, go ahead and fight them if that's what they want. Just make sure not to harm any of them. Understood. I also would like to avoid excessive force. I will be careful. Yes, we'll do as great gentlemen do, in the true spirit of Baritsu. Well, I'm glad we're not fighting a servant right off the bat, at least. Okay. Piece of cake. I see. So you got into a fight almost the instant you left the border? Yes, I'm afraid we ended up in a standoff with the locals. At least we got them to back down for now. All thanks to your and Noja's efforts not to harm them. They do appear to understand that our intentions are not violent now. They're currently monitoring us from what I suppose they consider a safe distance. It seems they have their own responsibilities to tend to. Correct. No signs of reinforcements. We are safe for the moment. I see. So you managed to avoid provoking them. I'm relieved to hear they're sharp enough to realize we're only lost travelers trying to get our bearings. Although, what about the servants? You said we can summon more once we're able to use the ley line, right? Da Vinci's outside preparing a summoning circle right now. I think she's run into some kind of trouble, though. Hey guys, I'm setting everything up right now. Just give me a minute to work out the kinks. Sure, I ran into a little trouble, but don't worry, it's the kind I'm used to. Hey, Da Vinci, are you sure it's okay to hook this weird machine up to match his shield? It looks super shady. In fact, it doesn't even look like it was made on Earth. Oh, right, that's the booster Sion lent me. Get this, a single one lets you manifest a spirit origin equivalent to 3 servants. She called it, whatchamacallit cell. Unfortunately, they burn out after a single use, but we're not going to be stingy with Cursor and Gordy's lives at stake. Alright, now we just stand by in base state. As soon as we get a response from the servant side, I'll kick it to its excited state so we can start the summoning. There we go. Now it's just a matter of time. As long as the servant has some connection to you, Cursor, I'm sure they'll answer the summon, Lostbelt or not. I see. Well done, technical advisor. In that case, you can start by summoning a skilled caster capable of brainwashing these barbarians en masse. This is an emergency, and an urgent one at that. We need to start making progress post-haste. Are you alright with that course of action, Mr. Cursor? Easy there, Director. Let's just calm down. Calm down? How can I calm down while I will be dead in a matter of days? And have you forgotten this concerns you too? Regardless, the summoning will take time. It would be in our best interest to negotiate while that proceeds. Sometimes, Mr. Gordolf, there is something to be said for not letting sleeping dogs lie. Alright then, who's going to lead these amicable negotiations? Cursor already tried and failed, remember? Where are we going to find an angel with a smile cherubic enough to win over those You're up, Da Vinci. That's right. We're just poor, hapless travelers who lost our way. Oh, you poor thing. That must have been so hard. We didn't mean to ruin your field, I promise. Do you think you could forgive us? Oh, don't worry about that. We can always tell it again. Hell, just getting to talk to such a pretty girl as you makes me want to till the field again more than ever. Da Vinci really is a force to be reckoned with, isn't she? She's not technically lying, but she's not exactly being truthful either. She's a demon with the face of an angel. Just look at those men falling all over themselves. That outsider's got them twisted around her little finger. How can they possibly trust any of those foreigners after the beating they gave the poor supervisors? Aha! Sensing an opportunity. Now he's over there to be a handsome man. I do beg your pardon about that, madam. Please allow me to apologize for trampling on your fields as well. I only hope you can believe me when I say that we truly do want nothing more than to resolve this matter peacefully. Unfortunately, the truth is that we have lost our way and are uncertain as to where we are. I am so terribly sorry to impose, but could you please tell us about this place? You are our only hope. We are? Well then, I suppose we, ought to step up. True. I mean, if a man this handsome needs our help, the least we can do is hear him out, right? Well, Holmes has his looks, if nothing else. Agreed. I do not know why we fought earlier. Well, the important thing is that we've reached a peaceful resolution. It looks like they were all just scared more than malicious. They seem to be good people at heart. By the way, Da Vinci, what was the trouble you ran into with the spirit origin graph earlier? An excellent question, Holmes. Glad to see you're paying attention to the important bits. What? I thought you'd already resolved the issue with summoning servants. Less resolved and more worked around. I still don't know what the problem really was. This Lostbelt's nothing like either Russia or Scandinavia. I tried using the ley line here to connect to this Lostbelt's Throne of Heroes, but I didn't get any response. None whatsoever. There was nothing wrong with the equipment, so whatever the problem is, it has something to do with this world. Granted, the odds were always low that a heroic spirit from this Lostbelt was going to be eager to help us, so I wasn't counting on that. But it's still odd that there'd be no answer at all, right, Holmes? Indeed. So I just dropped that idea and switched back to trying to summon from Chaldea's spirit origin graph. Now, we're just waiting for a heroic spirit to respond to our call. In fishing terms, we've baited our hook and cast our line. All there is for us to do now is be patient. What could be going on, Senpai? I have no idea. Honestly, even though my genius once again carried the day, I really don't know what happened there. What I do know is that the connection to the Throne of Heroes is just that, a connection, and it doesn't exist in this Lostbelt's ley line. It could also be that our definition of what a heroic spirit is doesn't match this Lostbelt's. Definition of heroic spirit? I keep changing how I do Noja's voice. It's because their actual voice is way higher than I ever imagine it in my head when I read their dialogue. So I'm varying the amount I try to match that. Anyways. And what exactly do you mean by that? This is a fascinating phenomenon, one that no doubt gets to the heart of this Lostbelt's true nature. But right now, we have nothing more than speculation. We'll need to collect more evidence before we can begin drawing any conclusions. Oh, that sounds to me like you already have a pretty good idea what's going on, Holmes. I do have a hypothesis, but a good detective only shares their deductions once they are supported by clear and undeniable evidence. I think I might have an idea what's going on there. It's China's ancient. So, and this Lostbelt split off way back in the BC era. So it's if human history changed that far back, if it changed drastically enough, there's not gonna be heroic spirits in that world. Of course, nobody ever said you can only summon from your own world, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with that. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's my theory for now. Okay. Might as well keep going. Yeah. I still can't use my actual servants. Ugh. Come on. The air's so clean here. It is, isn't it? It feels like forever since I was last able to breathe this easily. Since in the other Lostbelts, the border was the only safe place we could go. Oh, I almost forgot we have the Chaldea Pace now, too. Anyway, being surrounded by a natural landscape like this really feels like... Huh? What's that up in the sky above us, Senpai? What? Huh? It looks like some kind of streak? What are you talking about? Oh, I see. I see. It's very faint. I didn't notice it during the night, but that's definitely strange, right? I guess it must be normal here, since none of the locals seem to be taking any notice of it. Da Vinci still has them all practically enthralled. So hey, what's the name of this era? Era? What's that? Oh, I was mostly just wondering what year it was. Well, I'm turning 22 this year. We all start working when we turn 5. Jeez. And I've planted these fields 17 times now, so that adds up, right? Thanks. I was thinking more along the lines of a calendar, though. It's time to plant the seeds and harvest the last crops, of course. You can tell by the moon, you see? Let's try this then. Who's the foremost leader in the world right now? Why, that'd be most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor, of course. And what is this emperor's name? Name? Why, most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor, of course. You might as well ask me what the sun and moon are called. The name's right there. Well, where might we find this emperor, then? In the capital. Where else? And where's that? They say it's way, way off in that direction. Have you ever been there? Me? Why would I ever go there? We only worship from afar with gratitude. None of us would exist without most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor's blessing, after all. Huh? What's up, Nash? Senpai, do you smell that? Huh? Are you talking about my... cologne? I don't know what that is. I did switch to my more wild American brand after we got here. No, I don't mean that. It's less of a human scent and more beastly. This presence, no mistake. Bloodthirsty creatures are headed this way. What is that thing? There's another one over there. What the? Those are Kachat, like we saw in Russia. What are they doing here? Are you kidding me? We can figure that out later, Da Vinci. Right now we need to evacuate the villagers. Koyanskaya brought them here somehow, I'm assuming. I'm not going to be able to edit that out. Oh well. What a pain. There we go. How much longer until I can use my own servants again? Hostiles eliminated. That said, those were from the Russian Lostbelt. I can't believe we're seeing creatures from an entirely different Lostbelt here. This is too bizarre to be a coincidence. You there, have you ever seen creatures like this before? No way! I've never seen a monster like that in my life. Me neither. The worst things we've seen up until now were the wild boars the supervisor used to chase off. If we'd ever run into these things before, we'd probably be dead now. Don't worry, we'll help you for as long as we're here. It's the least we can do to make up for ruining your field. Right, Master? Right. Besides, this might have something to do with us. Might. It definitely does. What are you two saying? We didn't come here to serve as this village's bodyguards. No, Miss Kyrulite is correct. Those Krichat should not be here. If they have made a sudden appearance, we should investigate it. How are you feeling, Cursor? I'm fine. It's a good thing Ritsuka is feeling sick here, because then my yawns and sneezes and stuff are, like, basically in character. Great, your vital signs are all looking good too, so your condition's definitely not too serious just yet. We've still got to keep a close eye on it, of course, but I don't think we need to worry too much just now. I must say, you're looking a tad pale, Commander. Are you sure you won't lie down in the command room? Oh, be quiet! I just have a little heartburn from eating too much cake, that's all. I'm in perfectly good health, I'll have you know. If a third-rate mage can handle this poison without a problem, then of course I can too. I have my contract with MASH protecting me, though. Guess he's gotta protect his pride. That aside, we're still no closer to getting our bearings here, even with the locals sharing. Our first order of business is gathering as much information as possible. Otherwise, we have no way of knowing where to even begin. Where to begin? How about we begin by finding Koyanskaya like we originally planned? A fair point. I sincerely doubt she came here on a lark. Very well then, how do we track her down? We'll never find her if we merely walk around without a plan, after all. Given that this is a Lostbelt, we know there must be a cryptor guarding its tree of emptiness somewhere. And just like in Scandinavia, this Lostbelt's tree doesn't seem to be visible. Yes, that concerns me too. The Russian tree was so large as to be visible from hundreds of kilometers away. The fact that we cannot see it here means that it must be disguised, as it was in Scandinavia. And that, in turn, means this Lostbelt's king understands that it is something best kept hidden. Of course, if they so wished, a fairy or sage could make a mountain disappear with relative ease. I really don't want to imagine going up against someone like that, but given everything so far... Indeed. Even if we were to capture Koyanskaya today, we cannot simply leave this Lostbelt behind. As long as it exists, it remains a threat to proper human history. Sooner or later, we will need to face the cryptor responsible for it. All the more reason for us to hurry along with our investigation! You're all being far too generous, agreeing to be this village's bodyguards. I mean, I can understand how scared those villagers would be if the Krichat were to suddenly attack again, but... I assure you, Mr. Gordolf, this is all part of our investigation. What was that? It's safe to assume that these hostile creatures are the same... are the same type of demonic beast we fought in Russia. Think back to when we first learned about them. The Krichat are demonic beasts that originated in the Russian Lostbelt and possess numerous characteristics that let them survive in its frigid environment. But this Lostbelt is far too warm for such creatures. Oh, now I get it. So that's why Mash and Cursor agreed to help. Right. This has everything to do with us. The fact that those creatures showed up in a different Lostbelt can only mean that someone brought them here. Koyanskaya. Indeed, someone who can come and go between Lostbelts as they please. Koyanskaya. Since we can of course eliminate ourselves as suspects, that only leaves one possibility. Tamamovich Koyanskaya. Precisely. A most astute interjection, Mr. Cursor. Watson would have been proud. Finding Koyanskaya remains our priority, but at the moment we have far too little information to act on. If anything, the Krichat's appearance is our only real lead so far. We cannot afford to overlook it. Hey, can I just say something? I sent out a surveillance drone toward the capital, and I discovered something... interesting. Oh, was there actually a city out that way? I tried zooming in and cleaning up the long-range footage as best as I could, and... well, it's easier if you just take a look. What the hell? For once, I am genuinely at a loss for words. So much for civilization never developing here. If they've got the science and engineering know-how to build a metropolis like this, then they've come way farther technologically than we thought. I mean, there's not a single support column holding this thing up, so they obviously figured out how to make it float. And since it's clearly no giant air bladders or anything or the like, I've got to wonder just how the hell they are making something that heavy float. Perhaps magecraft is used openly here. Either that, or they really have advanced scientifically to the point where they can control gravity. In the latter case, they would be well ahead of proper human history, at least in terms of technology. Oh, and while I was at it, I grabbed some footage of that weird, perfectly straight line in the sky, too. Here it is at max magnification. What is this thing? That looks like peacock feathers. I see. I don't see, but I am getting an idea. Well, for starters, it's about 2,000 kilometers above us, so it's just barely in low orbit. By my estimates, it's more than 5 kilometers wide. That's not even the best part. It stretches along the entire observable sky of the Lostbelt. Wow. Then how come we couldn't see it before entering this Lostbelt? If it's 2,000 kilometers up, that's gotta put it above the storm clouds, right? That must mean that the Lostbelt's borders prevent anything within from being seen, storm or no. Interesting. Anything built during their history, no matter how big it might be, is impossible to observe from the outside. Forget measuring size and mass. From the outside, there's no way to even know it exists at all. Even now that we can observe it, I have no idea what it is or what it's for. If the people of this world built it themselves, that raises even more questions. I'll say, how can something like that exist when life in this farming village is so primitive? I kept flying the drone around in every direction, but I didn't see any other buildings or structures even remotely close to the scope of the capital. East, west, north, south, it was nothing but fields everywhere I looked. Seriously? Man, I can't tell if this place is way ahead of proper human history or way behind it. Whatever is taking place here, it no doubt stems from this world's deviation from proper human history. Da Vinci, I trust you can determine the capital's latitude and longitude from here? What happens when you map it to the China we know? Is there a record of a capital city dating back to a well-known dynasty there? You already figured that out. I wanted to keep you all in suspense a little longer. I can certainly understand the desire for a dramatic reveal of your information. Under the present circumstances, however, I am afraid we are reliant on you for all such inquiries, so please give us your information now. Yeah, you made your point. Based on its distance from our present location, it corresponds to proper human history's Zhanyang prefecture. Zhanyang? Isn't that... Indeed, it dates back to the Qin dynasty. Qin? That was before the Three Kingdoms era, wasn't it? Does that mean it even predates Zhang Yu and Liu Bang? I don't know who the latter one is. That's right. The Qin dynasty was a major empire around 200 BC. It's known for being the dynasty of China's first emperor. It was the country ruled by the great Qin Shi Huang. So that is Chaldea, your enemy. Who is this? Is this the moth? Yes, but not only are they my sworn enemy, they also command a threat to the safety of your empire. Yup. Namely, heroic spirits. We see. Indeed, we were quite surprised when you first told us of them. You said this master can summon an army of great heroes from the past, correct? We find this difficult to credit, indeed. We are certain you would not lie to us, but how could a few mere soldiers ever hope to overturn our eternal reign? We cannot even imagine the possibility. You underestimate heroic spirits at your peril. Those whose souls are offered to the counterforce are given tremendous power to ensure the continuation of humanity. Trust me when I say that a single servant is easily the equivalent of 1,000 ordinary soldiers. So this Alea you spoke of? You said it is the sum total of human consciousness. This sounds like pure nonsense to us. Is this the manner of thing you simply accept in your own world? You make an excellent point, Your Imperial Majesty. My world was more chaotic and less complete than yours. It must have been if something so preposterous as resurrecting dead heroic spirits to fight in one's place is considered normal. We cannot help but wonder how a world where such things were necessary to maintain order could have lasted. I must warn you too, Your Imperial Majesty. The Master of Chaldea is an enemy you can't afford to ignore. Ah, right. We had forgotten that you were from the same world as Akuta, Koyanskaya. My name is Koyanskaya, Your Imperial Majesty. Do you think you could try to remember this time? Watch your tongue when speaking to the Emperor, wretch. No matter. These visitors come from a world beyond our domain. Of course our customs elude them. Thank you, Your Imperial Majesty. I do understand that you may find it rude and presumptuous of me to warn one so omnipotent as you. But the fact is, Chaldea has already brought strange creatures with them that threaten your people's safety. You brought them, you asshole! This poses quite a problem for your quarantine as well. Surely you don't want them to get away with this? Please, Your Imperial Majesty, if we merely wait for them to reveal their true barbaric nature, it will be too late. You know, I really don't remember what voice I used for her in the prologue. If it is so important to you, then why have you not done something about it yourself? You command these servant puppets as well, do you not? Yes, I do. If you would forgive me for disturbing your eternal paradise, I can summon one right now. Very well. Show us exactly what these warriors from another world are capable of. Yes, Your Imperial Majesty. This Emperor is much more laid back than I thought. I expected a bit more eagerness to take down the threats to their empire. Yes. I had hoped for the same. Nothing ever seems to go as planned with the Emperor, but oh well, that isn't going to change. Well, sorry you ended up having to do all the work in consequence. I do hope it won't take you too long to finish them off. Is that all you have to say for yourself after all the trouble you've caused? Please don't glare at me like that, Akuta. You're gonna make me cry. We're on the same side in all of this. Besides, isn't the Master of Chaldea every crypter's sworn enemy? Of course, you could have lured him to any of the others' territories, and any of them would have made sure to finish him off. I would go so far as to say any one of them would be a better pick for this kind of work than me. So why did you have to bring them to China? They're only here because they were following you, right? Thank you so much for that. Aw, don't be so hard on yourself, Akuta. I really thought you would be the best fit for the job, seeing how you're so good at defense and all. You see, I actually tried to assassinate him as a favor to Beryl. But I'm afraid things didn't exactly go as planned. See, the poison I used is called Zhan Shui Ming Mai, and... well, I don't suppose you already know what it is, do you? You are unbelievable. So you do know about it. You're one smart cookie, aren't you? In that case, you can see where this is going, right? Including what they'll try to do to find an antidote. Koyanskaya, did you do this on No, I didn't. This time, I only had about 10% of a plan. That's why I wasted no time coming to warn you, Akuta. I wanted to take responsibility, see? I mean, Chaldea's got the world's greatest inventor and greatest detective on their side now, right? I knew it wouldn't take them long at all to figure out where the poison came from. So I thought, instead of wasting time trying to sweep this under the rug, it would be much better to fortify our defenses now. So here I am, warning you about the danger and taking responsibility. It's not like you and I are complete strangers, right? So I thought I could help you out with getting rid of Chaldea. Besides, we're both misanthropic outcasts. It only makes sense for us to join forces, don't you think? True, that much I know we have in common. But that still doesn't explain why you brought those dangerous pets of yours along. Pets? Perish the thought. They have their dignity, at least as far as wild animals go. So you didn't order them to go around killing people? Of course not. Why would I rob myself of the pleasure of torturing and killing humans? No, they're just doing their best to survive and find food in an environment they're not used to. Don't you find that far more endearing than a bunch of defanged livestock like this nation's people? That's not the problem, and you know it. How could you set demonic beasts from another Lostbelt loose here? If the Emperor finds out you're the one responsible for them, you will find yourself in real trouble. Oh, that? You might say that's just part of a lifelong project for me. Don't worry, I promise I won't make any trouble for you. You have your own life's work you've devoted yourself to, don't you, Akita? So I think we'll both be happier if we just stay out of each other's way. Fine. What's done is done, after all. There's no way I'm letting Chaldea mess up my nice, stable Lostbelt. Don't you dare go easy on them, Saber. As you wish, Master. I promise I won't let you down. Huh? When did you summon him? I can tell he's got a beautiful face underneath that mask, too. No fair, Akita. How come you're the only one who gets a certified hottie working for her? That's not why he's here. Just shut up already, you damned fox. Wow. Okay, that'll be the end of this episode then. I will see you next time.